and welcome back to the third and final part. Let me draw your attention to something. You see, when I click on this column here, I end up with this message saying index out of range. Okay, it's out of range because when I was creating the cell click, I entered the following: the tag subtotal and extension number. So I'm going to take care of that now before I then take care of delete and reset. So let's exit out. Yeah, there we go. That's it right here. If you can still recall, I selected this dataGirdView, go straight to the properties here and select event, and right here cell click, just click, double click on that. There we go. So I'm going to come in there. The cells actually start from 0, but by the time you get to here, extension number, number of days, tags, subtotal, those ones I don't want to include those ones, so I'm going to get rid of them. Okay, I only need it for the 16 components. So I'm going to save it now, and let's run it again, and you see what I'm talking about. That error will be gone by now. Alright, let's give it a go. Just select whatever cell. That's it. It's fine now. Okay, it's no more out of range. Okay, so let's take care of these two and this very one. You see, when I select this, I would like you to just tell me, give me the room number extension or the extension number to the room. I would like to do that as well, and I will also take care of the calculation for tag, subtotal, and total. So I'm going to exit out here, and let's come back in here, go straight to our form, and let's double click on the resets. Double click on that. There we go. For the resets, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to reset every single component, so I might as well just copy everything I have in here and just delete what I don't need. Grab it all and come right down here, paste, and start taking care of the resets. This is my reset now. There we go. So I'm going to copy that and just pass it around. Copy, there, reset. And I'm going to repeat the same thing for all. The only difference is going to be, you see the date time picker. I'm going to change those. Let's change that now so that you guys see what that's meant to be. And that is going to be reset text. There we go, that's it. Okay, so that takes care of that. Reset text. I think there's meant to be parentheses in there. Let's enter parentheses and see that. Yeah, that's right. So I'm going to have to speed this up. Okay, so all I'm just doing is just that. I'm not doing anything much that you guys cannot take care of. So let's speed that up and I'll get back to you. Oh, this is dates. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna speed that up and I'll be back, like I said. Okay, that's it, all done. There, that's my reset taken care of. Okay, I believe there's an easier way to clear multiple text box, so you guys can use that, and if you find a solution to that, that'll be great. Alright, now let's take care of the delete button here. So double click on the delete. Now for the delete, let me just copy some stuff here instead of reinventing the wheel. So I'm going to come into, let's go to here. I'm going to copy all of these here. From here, maybe just maybe up to here. Just take it down, copy everything and delete what I don't need. copy everything there, and I'm going to go straight down here to the delete function. That's the name. Look at that, and paste that in there. Now let's start work with deleting what we don't need. Alright, so I have it connected. That's good. I'm going to get rid of the open first. Get rid of that there. Because I'm going to be using the ID, so I might as well just specify my ID. Let's grab all of this and just take it up here. Now let me specify my ID here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the ID, so let's say string, and that will be ID, and this very ID, I should be able to get that inside my txt customer reference. That is where I enter my client ID, or you can call it client reference, whatever you want there. Alright, so that's taken care of. And underneath here, I'm going to use this command to, instead of insert, I might as well just delete all of this. So that should officially be delete. So let's change this one to delete from hotel. Delete from hotel, and that's, I'm just going to use where ID. So let's get rid of all of this as well. Where ID equals, let's enter quote plus ID plus quote and speech mark, comma. Let's make reference to my SQL connector. There we go. Okay guys, there's one thing I'm going to have to change. That is, I'm going to change that to MySQL, because I'll keep having that error. MySQL, that will be command. MySQL command is, it's going to be called SQL com, and right in here I'm going to get rid of this, and I'll just change that. Let's get rid of all of that. Let's change that to equals gc new, and that is going to be my SQL command. Grab that and just paste it right here. That should hopefully take care of the error. There we go, the error is gone. So I'll use it that way to activate my delete SQL function there. Okay, now let's open the connector. Then after that, what we need to then do is we need to get the reader, on the reader to actually read. So let's say SQL reader here. This is the disadvantage when you copy. SQL reader, you just have to keep changing little bits. So the SQL reader equals SQL command dash, we then change execute to execute reader. Yeah. There. Now, executing the reader, I might as well just add a message here before I close this thing. Let's come right down here. Let me just add a message here. Let's say message box column show. What should I enter? I'm going to say record deleted, something like that. Record deleted. Yeah. And maybe I should just enter another parenthesis. Let's call that hotel database, and add another argument. The other argument, I'm going to call that message message box buttons dot, I'm going to use, no, it's column, okay, and one more argument, message box icon. That will just be an information, so select the information one. Alright, enter a semicolon there. So that's the message box I intend to use. I will close our connection here. Do I need to reactivate after closing? Let me get rid of this for now, or just drag it right down here, bring it down here. Okay, if you guys can still remember, that's my function that I use to connect my database. So let's give this a try. Let's increase it a little bit so you can see it. Alright, I'm going to give it a try. Let's click on run. Okay, let's try that out. So I'm going to select where we have, I think this is Captain, okay, Captain Tommy. I have two of Captain Tommy, so let's get rid of one. Hit on delete. Record deleted. Okay, but it's still there, so we need to refresh. Okay, it's gone, but we do need to refresh. So if I exit and rerun the program, run it again, you will see the other name of Captain Tommy is deleted. So let's run it. And there we go. Okay, we only have one Captain Tommy, but we don't want it that way. Maybe I should call this, or just write a small, or reload the whole form entirely right here. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, one other thing is I have two of deeps here, so let's delete deep and see if I can even refresh it here. I'm going to delete that. Yes, record deleted. And let's see if we can refresh and reload. Yeah, that's it, it's working. Look, okay, that's fine. Okay, it seems the refresh works better, so let me just select another one here. Maybe select Johnny here, and I'm going to just change the, let's change the customer ID and add. There we go, that's it there. So if we click on delete again, there it's gone, but it's still showing, not until we refresh. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the code in here, just delete it off and just enter it into a function. So let's exit out and go for the refresh. Right in here, let's look for the refresh button. That's it right there. I'm going to double click on it. Let's scroll right down. So grab all of the codes in here. I'm going to copy it all and just cut it off and use it as a, I'm going to use it as a function. So click, you see all the refresh is gone. So I'm going to go to where I have my, okay, that's it, that's my area for function, and underneath here I'm going to create another function, private. Let's enter column system double column void, oh no, let's call it refresh, refresh db. There we go, that's the name, and enter curly braces. I will now paste the copied lines of codes in there. There we go. Alright, that is it right there. So let's copy this very function. That's the function refresh. Okay, have a good look at it. I've only just copied it from the button and I brought it up here into my function area. This is the main function for my main for the whole program, the ones that load up the database. Now let's come right down, copy this function name. Let's look for button refresh. let's see, it should be here somewhere. Refresh. I'll go to the form and just double click on it. Okay, we have our delete. That is the delete. Okay, let's take care of the delete. I'm gonna come right down here now, and instead of this, I'll just delete that and enter my refresh function in there for the delete. That is fine. So let's go for the button itself. Right here, come right down, double click on refresh. There we go. That's the area for refresh. Paste that in there, enter semicolon. There. Alright, so let's run it now and see how that's going to work. Alright, decision time. So what I'm going to do is I will select any of these. Let's click on that, Johnny Parker, and let's change the details of Johnny Parker to, let's go for 800 plus so that we can see it down there. So I'm going to say 8. Okay, we should be able to see Johnny Parker here. I'm going to add Johnny Parker's details. That is it. So which means we have duplicated Johnny Parker's details with different ID number. Okay, there's one here and there's another one here. Okay, we can delete this. Select that. Come straight to delete. Hit delete. Yes, record deleted. And there we go. Look at that. Johnny Parker's details is all gone there. Okay. I can copy this. Let's change this to maybe 7 and update. So we have 2 Johnny Parkers here again. Look. So I'm going to select one of them. Click on delete. Yeah, that's it. The delete is working and at the same time refreshing the whole system. Okay, let's try someone else. Maybe just clone. Let me go to Omo Isha. Okay, Omo Isha Echo Ewu. Now I'm going to add that. Let's change that to about 8 something so that we can get that right underneath here. Now add. There we go. Now let's try to delete the excess record of Omo Isha. So come in here, delete. There. So my delete is working perfectly. Reset is working, as you can see. Delete works, refresh works. I'm happy. So all that is left for me to do now is I need to, when I click on this, select any of the room numbers. I automatically want the extension details, so let's do that. Alright, let's go back to the design view and okay, let's come in here. That's the combo box, double click on it, and right there I'm going to enter as follows. If, let's put that in a bracket. First thing, let's enter this. Copy all of that and start with try. There. Paste that underneath here, and right in here I'm going to use an if statement. So if that is this combo box, that's the name there. If the text content on it is equals to 001, so I want to open a bracket here and let's just say txt, enter my condition there, txt dash the text. Okay, close this. Txt dash the text equals 1001. So that will be the extension number. So I'm just going to close this here. There. You can always write it like this. The choice is yours. I just want to put it on a straight line. We need to enter semicolon here. I just want to put it on a straight line because I have about 10 of those to do. Okay, you get that, guys. So I'm going to return it back to what I've just done earlier on a straight line, so that you guys can see it properly. Repeat the same thing here, else it's going to be too long for me. Okay, that's it. Let me increase the font size now so that you can see it properly. I'm just going to copy and paste now. Copy this and change the numbers around. Paste. I have 10. Yes. Okay, this one is going to be 2, 3, and so on. Right, just one more. That's 10. I think 10. Yeah. Get rid of that. This is how that's going to be 10. Alright, so this one will be 1, 0. So that's the phone number for that. So this one is 1, this one is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's that taken care of. Okay, you see how quick that is. So that is it, guys. So for the combo box is sorted. Those are the lines of code for the combo box. Now let's run that and see before we take care of the final one, which is the calculation. So run. Alright guys, let's try that out. I'm going to click on any room number there. There we go, and that's the telephone extension for that very room. Okay, that's fine. Now let's take care of number of days. Now I want the number of days to work with the date enter into the hotel and date you live in. So if we have 1 here, then I expect this number of days here to give me 17. So to do that, we're going to have to use functions as well. Alright, so let's exit out. I'm going to be using function there because I have to assign both value or the lines of code in both components. So first thing first, let's go right up where I have my function line. So let's come up here somewhere. Function. There we go. I think that is it. Yeah. End of function and beginning of function. Alright, so let's create another one. The very first one is going to be first thing first. Let's give my function a name. Private. There. System. Column void. Alright, so my function name, I'm going to call it number of days. That's my function name. Enters curly braces there. So that is the name of my function, number of days. Okay, now let's call the following object date time. The very first one for time, I'm just going to call that db time. Okay, db time. Alright, let's make this lowercase, db time, and that is equals to, let's first of all convert column to dates to date time, and the first one is going to be, no, it's called dates picker. Dates time picker, date time picker 1, oh no, it's picker 2, date time picker 2, dash whatever you have in there in a text format. There we go. That's the very first one. So I've assigned whatever value we have in here straight into db time. So I'm going to create another one. Come right down here, paste. The second one, I'm going to call that db date, and the value of that is 3. The time picker 3. Alright, now let's subtract what we have inside both. So we have to subtract this from this. So come right down here, and let's say time span. So I'm going to just give that a name. Let's make that up. Time span equals, let's say different, equals db date dot subtract whatever we have inside db time. Okay, there. No, this, why am I calling it date and time? So no, let's just call it db time as well. Db time 1, db time 2. Sorry about that, instead of me confusing you guys with date. There. And this is going to be 2. So subtract 1 from 2. db time 1 from db time 2. There. So the first one, this is for date in, and this one is for the next one is for date out. Date into the hotel and date out of the hotel. So we now subtract date in from date out. So this should be 2. That's one we want to subtract, and this one will be 1. Okay. Yeah, we subtract this from this. Now let's assign whatever we get, the different. I'm now going to come down here. Let's enter semicolon there. Come down here and let's go for txt number of days dash text equals convert to string. Yeah. And what we want to convert to string is in the form of integer. So convert column to int 64. Mine is 64, so what am I converting is going to be different dot days. There. Enter semicolon, and that should take care of that. So let's move everything here so that you guys can see it properly. So I will now call this inside my date time picker. So copy that, go straight to the design, and double click on this very one, press enter there, and paste that in here, enter semicolon. So I've just called that very function in the first one, so I'm going to repeat the same thing for the next one. So come down here and just double click on the second one, this one, double click on that, and press enter, paste that function. So all we need to do now is to run the program. So let's click on run there. Okay guys, decision time. Let's try it out now. Select whatever in there. There we go. And let's assume we increase this one to there. That's fine. Let's make a mistake. See, it's working as we want, so that is fine. We will now use this value we have in here to multiply whatever we have in here, or the selection made here, to determine the overall total, subtotal, and tax. So let's write another function. Once that is done, and that will be the end of the program. So I'm going to exit out, exit there. Okay, I'm going to go straight to where I have my functions. So let's scroll up there That's delete, and this one is reset. dataGirdView and updates, and the function is right here, up here somewhere. There we go. Alright, so this is my third function. The first one, like I told you guys earlier on, that's the very first one that we used to upload all of the, it was used to upload the data anyway. So let's come in here, just even number it. So I'm going to enter that. I'll call that function number 1. That is 1. Okay, have a good look at it. I'm going to write another one here. That's function number 2. Like that too. And this is the third one that we've just taken care of now. This very one. And the last one is the, no, this is third. The last one will be the fourth function. Right. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy that, come right down here. And paste. So let's give it a name. I'm going to call it total cost. So come right here, just change that to total cost. There we go, and press enter. Right, for total cost, so what I want this function to do for me is whatever I have inside my text box, this very one, okay, I want it converted to string. But one thing first, let's declare an integer. Int number of days. Yeah, that's fine. Equals int 64. I'm using 64 because my system is 64. Then we want it to pass the following value. So what I want you to pass is everything we have in here. Okay, so copy this, paste it in there, and to string. There, dash string. Close that up. Okay. There. Let's just enter parentheses here to take care of that. That should take care of the error. Okay, that's fine. So I'm now going to use an if statement here to check whatever I have inside the combo box. So if combo meal dash text, if combo meal that text equals, let's say, breakfast, if that is breakfast, and combo room, that should be room type, and the room type equals or dash text equals single. Now I'm going to be using the variables that I declared right at the beginning of the program, if you guys can still recall. But first thing first, let's enter curly braces there, and here are the variables. Let me take you guys to where I have the variables, right up here somewhere. If you can still recall every single one of these variables, we're now going to be using them. Okay, I'm going to be using these now, and these and these. Okay, let's go back to the function. There we go, right here. So in here, we now want total. Total is one of the variables that was declared. Total equals meal 1 plus single room. So because we have single here, so that's going to be single room. That's the other variable. Then we want to now multiply it by the whole value that is stored in here. Copy that and paste it right here, multiply, and enter parentheses. That's one step out of the way. Now let's work out the tax. Tax equals whatever I have inside total here. So grab total, open up a bracket, and that is going to become multiplied by I tax, the tax of the, I think it's right, I tax, then we divide that by 100. So that will be for the tax. Right. Now let's see I tax and tax. Okay, as you can see, I tax is declared. That's the tax that we charge, but my other variable, just tax, is not declared. So I'm going to go back up there and get that declared. I thought I declared that. So come up here, where is it? Okay, where I have my total, I'm just going to maybe comma and just make that tax there. And I tax does not even have a value, so I'm going to give it a value as well. So let's say I tax equals maybe 0.2. 0.23. Okay, that's the value for the tax that you're paying for your room. So let's come down here. So that's taken care of as well. Come right down here. So where is the functions? Yeah. So as you can see, the error is gone. Now underneath I tax, I will now enter the following values. Let's say txt tax. Yeah, txt tax. Pass the following. I want you to pass whatever value we have in here, so it's going to be string column format, and that is going to be, let's say, speech mark, curly braces, 0, column C, that which will give me a 2 decimal place, and close the curly braces, come right here, and that will be tax. Enter semicolon here. There. That should take care of that. Now the next one is subtotal and tax and a total. So I'm just going to copy this, paste. So change this to subtotal. I think it's lowercase t. Subtotal, and in the case of subtotal, this is going to be total. Y for total is going to be total plus tax. So paste that in here, total plus tax, and change this one to total. There, that is it, done. Okay, let's do 2 more conditions. So this is how I'm going to work out my calculation. So I'm going to copy this, come right down here and use else if, paste. And this one, the condition is going to be that single room, so this is going to be double room. So in the case of double room, because the price is different from that of single room, that's one condition on its own. So let's come right here. This is going to be double room instead of single. So the price to that is now different. 1 mil to double room. Copy. Now let's do for family room. Come right down there, paste, scroll right down, and this is going to be family. And let's change this to family room. There we go. Paste. And there, those are the 3 conditions that I'm going to use. And if you want to repeat the same thing for the other 3, this is breakfast, the next one is going to be lunch. You can just copy. Let's copy that all the way here. And copy that and just write underneath here. There. And all I just need to do is to change this to lunch. There we go. I repeat exactly the same thing here. There. And right here again. Change this. So in that case, the meal is going to be 2. So the same thing applies to this one here. So you can just do the same thing for the third one. Come right down. And there we go. There, that's all I'm going to take care of. Just those 2 conditions for the meals. So I have breakfast and lunch. You guys can take care of dinner. All you need to do is easy. Just copy whatever you've done, copy, and just change it around to dinner. Or maybe I should just complete it. Paste there and change this to dinner. There. Copy that, and this one becomes third meal. Another dinner here. Oh, we need to correct that error. Okay, come up here, and this is third as well, and this will be dinner. There, those are the conditions to that. So let's make sure. Alright, dinner is served. Right. Then we have lunch. Get rid of this error here. Yeah, that's fine. And that's it. So I'm now going to run the program. But just before I do that, let me show you guys the whole lines of codes. Take it up here. Okay. Constructor declared. Okay. Then all my variables declared as well. And here I initialize the timer. And let's take it down. Now every other thing you will see is the component declarations. They're up to here. Okay, now I have my function. The function that calls my database, or the function that connected my database. Function to refresh the system up to here. And right here, function to calculate the number of days. And finally, the last function here, that's function for total. Okay, so you guys, you saw that earlier, so let's go back down now. Now right here we have the function for date and time inside the timer. Then we have the search. As the search from here. Okay, and this search is using the text box. Then we also have another search function here that's using the button. So you have 2 options there, either to double click on the text box, to click on the text box, or click on the button. Now function refresh called in here. Exit, we have exit there. We have total here. So in here actually we need to call the function total that we've just taken care of. Okay, so I'm going to come right down here, and right here I can call it right away. So let's come down here and say total. total cost. There we go, that's it. That's function total cost called. The last function I just taken care of, I've called it inside the total. Okay, so when we hit on total button, we should be able to see the whole calculation for that. Now, update. Let's do one thing so that you can see updates the rest of the codes. Yeah, that's it. That's update. Take it from up there and bring it down. Yeah, that's update. And we'll come right down here. We have the function that takes care of the dataGirdView. When you select any of the column, is displayed on every single component on the text box, combo box, and the date and time picker. Now we have resets. Lines of code for resets. Come right down. And we have deletes. And finally, we have the room. Okay, this is where you select any number of room and it gives you the extension number. And finally, date and time picker, calling the functions. That's all. So let's run this program now. Alright guys, now let's try out this calculator. So I'm going to select this. Let's select Kim Casey. Those are the details of Kim Casey. Now let's assign. Well, Kim Casey is spending, she's spending 40 days. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of like change the value in there. Let's change it here, so that's going to be 005. Now let's click on total right here. There we go, look at that. Okay, so now we know the cost of staying in the hotel. Okay, and if you come right down here, we now have Kim Carey on board. So if you want, we can delete this very one. So just go up there, delete. Yes, the system refresh. Kim Carey is now up there. See, everything is working beautifully. Okay guys, it's been a very long tutorial, so with that I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed, and please do subscribe to my channel, and you can also join to become a member. There's a lot of benefit if you're a member of the channel. So with that, I'm going to say bye for now. You all have a nice day now. Have a nice one. And bye for now guys.